I just want to add that, if there are issues out there that I didn't mention, if they're deeper in the town that I don't know about, I would really encourage people to reach out to me. My email is available. It's adi4westnewbury@gmail.com. Email me anytime. It goes right to my phone. I have my phone on me all the time. I try to respond as fast as possible. I set up a Facebook page for people to contact me on. Same title, Adi4West Newbury. You can send me messages on there. I'm dying for people to reach out to me and tell me what's going on. One issue that had been brought up to me recently was the farming in this town, which is essential for this, town that we live in. It's one of the greatest things. We have so many farms, whether it's the horses or the animals or the, just produce and stuff like that. And it makes this town special and separates us from other towns and gives us, a lot of nice rural open space and stuff, a nice place to live, And coming from the city, it's why I moved here, is because it's fine to work there, but when I want to live at the middle, at night, I want to go out on my porch, sit out there, relax, nice and quiet. I don't have to hear that's, buses and cars flying by, every, 5 minutes and stuff. But I'm a big supporter of the farmers. If they need help, if they need anything to keep their businesses going, I'm very much for that. Especially the small businesses in this town too. We have a lot of small businesses, and I think we could have more. I think we could really expand and really bring more revenue into the town by, focusing on small businesses. I think that's key. It's nice that we don't have big giant chains in this town, right? It's nice that we have small market, pizza shop, stuff like that, which I think is awesome. We would have to definitely see what the traffic situation is on a study and see if it's capable. I think a small business in our town and the ability of having, sidewalks and stuff that people can walk and easily get to without using vehicles is a big part there too. I know I walk down to the market all the time. I walk to the pizza place, so it's about, quarter of a mile from my house and stuff. It's not too bad. That could be, it's not always ideal in New England to be walking everywhere, but, you would have to look at it and be like, all right, how can we, expand, keep Main Street flowing without too much traffic, without making it dangerous for people, but also bring, commercial businesses, private, small commercial businesses into the town. And then you get to the point where you have to start looking at, okay, it's zoned, but like, if you're going to build a new, small little shop, or maybe you reuse some of these old buildings, like if there's a house that's on there that someone wants to turn into a shop or a store, that's perfect, stuff like that. There's ways to make it so it's not like, we're not putting a Walmart, in downtown West Newbury, right? We're just, we're looking for a mom and pop shop or something like that, or a little cafe or a restaurant, or, it's already a number of different shops like that down there, which are pretty cool. And it gives you that small downtown feel, you know what I mean? Like we'd be back like we were living in the, early 1900s, right? You can walk, everyone know each other, the shop owners, right? They live in the town. It's part of the charm of living in a town like this, I'm hoping to be able to walk in the door and, be able to look at certain things and see where the problems are firsthand and then be able to fix them, right? Make it very obvious problems. That's the hope, right? And I am more than happy to dig into any issues that need to be really evaluated a lot better, stuff that I just need some education on, and most people who step into a position like this, become a expert in everything, I guess, at the end of the day, because you're working on this thing, or something, but it's just about doing some research and trying to find solutions and not just saying, it's worked for so long, well, let's keep it going that way, right? And then eventually that becomes a problem at the end of the day, right? So it's trying to solve potentially large issues before they become large issues, right? So how can I prevent something bad from happening, or some catastrophic issue to happen, if I could have prevented it, today, and fix it for the future, kind of thing. I think that's probably the biggest thing. So there'll be a mix of both. I mean, both me looking into things, black and white, fix this right here, and also me, for example, like the budget, diving into that, talking with the other select board members and the other committees that whoever we're working in one way or another, to figure out what the problems are, and what they need for help and what they need from us to get it going. if we have to reach out to the state or if we have to reach out other avenues, how do we get it done,
I guess, two things. Number one is I think the progression of my experience over the past 29, 30 years in town, not just being involved with committees and boards, but being involved with town. I coached softball for 7 or 8 years. Just the day to day out, seeing everybody on the street and talking with them and having a sense of that. I think that's very helpful for me on the select board. And like I say, even with that, I get into some of these meetings. It took me like 29 years to decide that I had enough knowledge and competence to think I could do the select board appropriately, because I don't like to fail at anything. So I want to make sure I'm doing it at the best level I can. And then you get into some of these meetings and the breadth of issues that we have to deal with is staggering. It just is unbelievable. And all I can say is I think that every day, the select board, myself and Wendy currently at this point, because there's just 2 of us, are doing the very best we can with the very best information to serve all the residents of West Newbury at the highest level possible, and to treat all the employees fairly and respectfully. And that's a goal that I like to keep pushing for. So